Well, it is the 5th of April, and we just got a fairly large snowstorm. It looks like it's going to be the last of the season, or at least we've had about 2 weeks of just pretty much solid snowstorms, and this is the tail end of that. Who knows whether we'll have any more this season, but I don't know if we'll have, anything else. Most likely, usually in April, you start getting rain, but this year's been a weird year. You can see here, I'm looking at the west side of the valley, so we're looking at the south-facing slopes. Now, normally, your south-facing slopes are the ones that bear off early, and your north, you maintain snow a lot, which is the same thing this year. However, we don't have any bare slopes, even on the south-facing sides. I mean, there's still snow. I'm standing down here just below what's known as the Widowmaker Hill, and down here in the valley floor, I'm standing on a crust of snow. But if I sink down, you can see up to my knees, my knee being right there. So I'm about up to my knees in snow. So that's what we've got here on the valley floor. And it's the 5th of April. So there is a lot of snow, a lot of water to come out. And who knows how fast that'll come. We're hoping for kind of a mild warm up to the spring. However, this next week we're supposed to get into the 60s. And so I imagine a lot of this snow is going to come off down here in the valley. It's going to be coming off here pretty soon. So the river, they said the Weaver River's is at about, someone told me 84% capacity right now. So yeah, if with this water coming through, now it's gonna go over its banks. But how bad? I'm suspecting it's gonna be the worst that has been in 100 years. That's my prediction, but maybe I'm wrong. Now here you can see the snow on the hills. This is a north-facing slope. And a lot up here, you've got barely can see any brush sticking out. The sagebrush is covered. Now that whole face of that hill is covered with sagebrush, but you're not seeing all of it. Now over here on these south-facing slopes, you're seeing a little bit more poking through, but it's still quite deep. And especially once you get up high, that's all sagebrush covered, and you're not seeing any out there up high. Then when you look over here, on these north-facing slopes, they're behind my house. I live over here in that house over there. But these north-facing slopes here, I mean, those are all covered with sagebrush, and you're not seeing much sagebrush there. Just the tallest ones poking through. And you can kind of see the difference there. But on the other side of that substation, the north-facing with, the sagebrush poking through, but the south-facing, the sagebrush poking through. And the north hardly has any. So 5th of April, and I plan on trying to document as best I can what we're going to be facing here over the next little bit, because I suspect this year is going to go down in the history books as the worst flooding in a century. Hope to be wrong on that, but who knows. Anyway, that's it for now. 5th of April 2023. Okay, April 5th again, and I just wanted to show you the river level. This is Lost Creek. We're just down here, the bridge just coming into the town before you head up the lane. River's fairly low right now, not a lot of water. You got to realize most of this water is actually coming out of the tributaries to this Lost Creek below the reservoir. So that's what we're looking at here. All that debris isn't going to be there now. I've been told that this home has never in the past ever had problems with flooding. I don't know. This home was built after 1983. As you can see, it's fairly close to the river, but I don't know. A lot of the old timers that I've spoken with don't think that it will be one that we have to necessarily worry about. It's high enough up. that most of it will flood coming down over here, but not high enough to come over here to the house there. Now they do say that it'll probably most likely flood over here, the road. There's a culvert down there that'll cut past through this side. So all of that, where these trailers and semi-trailers and whatnot are, that'll most likely be underwater. So yeah, and then down there, maybe lower on the other side of the house, there's a low spot over there. So the water does run down over there and then runs over the river, over the road down there. So that's what we've got. When I say that I suspect that this will be the worst flooding in 100 years, I don't necessarily mean in Croydon per se, although I do think there will be flooding in Croydon. But I suspect that the flooding down river will be worse than what we experience here. I suspect that a lot of Croydon's flooding damage will be to property and not to homes. Whereas down below, I suspect there will be in the Uinta area, Morgan, around the Island Road area, and further down into Enterprise and Peterson, that area, there's going to be a lot of home damage. But we'll see. I hope to be wrong. Very well could be, but you never know. And so I just thought we'd document it. Bye. Okay, April 5th, we're up here at the top bridge where the two roads come back together. There's a home there. Back in '83, this area all came underwater. So that's the reason why I'm showing you here, is because as it progresses, I plan to come back and continue to document this. But again, there's Lost Creek, just upstream from where we were last time. Again, not much water here. I mean, looks like maybe a foot of water average across there. But they said in '83, this whole bridge, looking down here, so there's probably about 10 feet below me there. That whole bridge was chock full of water, and it ran over the road up here. Now I've asked if it ever has run over on this side, and the answer is not that we know of. Maybe in '52 it did. So anyway, we'll see. But I think that's because this side over here is higher than that side, so and that's much broader and lower elevation. So as a result, it's a lot easier for the water to push across here than it is to go where those horses just were. But a lot of the width of the river here was caused from 1983, as far as I know. That's a lot of this. So it'll be interesting. These willows for sure will be gone, but it'll be interesting to see if these cottonwoods are able to remain, or if the river erodes the bank enough out to where the trees all are taken out. So hopefully not. We need our trees, but that is a definite possibility. So anyway, bye for now. Okay, so this is Pine Creek coming out of Pine Canyon. You tell, just not running much water. There is no runoff as of yet. So I mean, hardly any. I shouldn't say no, but I mean that is not even 1% of what's going to come out of here. So yeah, it's got a lot more to come. But thought I'd show that for now. It's still April the 5th. Okay, April 5th. This is Gilder, the creek coming out of Gildersleeve, and you again can see that there is just hardly any runoff that's even started here. Question is this is a big canyon up top. A lot of drainage is going to come out of here. So I don't know. I don't have the experience to tell you whether these trees are all going to be, but it'll be interesting to see whether they are able to stay or not. But anyway, that's what we're looking at. Okay, April 5th again, and what we're looking at here is the bottom of Hell Canyon. So you can tell, just barely starting to see a little bit of trickle coming out of here. Just not much water. I mean, it's not even really taking the top off the snow and the ice that covers it. So this is, as I understand it, probably the broadest canyon at the top below Lost Creek, which means probably the most amount of runoff will either be, I would suspect it's this one, but it could be Gilder too, because this one's just so expansive at the top. A lot of basin up there, so there's a lot of water to come out of here. And if that's all you're seeing there, that little bit that's coming out right now, and it's April 5th, well, yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of water, but it is going to be interesting. One thing I've been interested to see is how little water's been coming out of these canyons, because that means that, you know, what they're letting out of Lost Creek is a little bit more than I thought. It's not a lot, but a little bit more. So, anywho, yeah, surprising. Okay, everything's so wide, I hope it shows up, but this is Lost Creek Reservoir. They're saying it's about 45% full right now. So again, this is April 5th, and again, what's just absolutely amazing to me is all these hills that we're looking at here are south-facing hills, and yet the amount of snow that's still there, I mean, these should all be bared off. I mean, normally we don't have, on the 5th of April, we don't have any snow in the valleys. The south hills are definitely bore off, at least, you know, on the low sides, or the low elevation hills. But you can see there's a little bit of water coming out, but just not a ton. So, interesting. Let's look around.